How fun would it have been to go up in these libertarian debates and just do like a Pete Buttigieg? Here is Amy Klobuchar, and I will say this was her. This was like the first time I heard her where she expressed at least some type of agenda, frankly, right? That was just like, as opposed to like, I'm not going to do what they're doing because that's too much.
Yeah, she's offering something.
Here she's offering something. But again, on some level, the attempt here, and see if you see this, and this is what I think is going to be problematic in the general election. You cannot tie in your agenda into some special magic about you as an individual. Listen to this.
Senator Klobuchar.
In Koki's memory, let me answer this question. We may have lost an election in 2016, Democrats, but we did not lose hope. And there is a way. It's actually based on a National Academy of Science report, and I've used that to put together a plan to reduce child poverty in half in 10 years and eradicate it in a generation. We can do it with investment in childcare. We can do it with investment in preschool and school, and we can do it with tax credits, and we can get it done. But to get it done, we have to be able to reach those voters that we lost in this state and across the country. There's an old story of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and when he died, his body was put on a train and went up across America. And there was a guy standing by those tracks along with so many Americans, and he had his hat on his chest and he was sobbing. And a reporter said, "Sir, did you know the president?" And the guy says, "No, I didn't know the president, but he knew me. He knew me." And I will tell you this, there is a complete lack of empathy in this guy in the White House right now. And I will bring that to you. If you have trouble stretching your paycheck to pay for that rent, I know you, and I will fight for you. If you have trouble deciding if you're going to pay for your child care or your long-term care, I know you, and I will fight for you. If you have trouble figuring out if you're going to fill your refrigerator or fill your prescription drug, I know you, and I will fight for you. I do not have the biggest name up on this stage. I don't have the biggest bank account. I'm not a political newcomer with no record, but I have a record of fighting for people. I'm asking you to join us at amyklobuchar.com. I'm asking you to believe that someone who totally believes in America can win this. Because if you are tired of the extremes in our politics and the noise and the nonsense, you have a home with me. Please, New Hampshire, I would love your vote, and I would love the vote of America.
So this really appealed, as far as I could tell, just from what we've read in terms of what her numbers have looked like in New Hampshire, from what I saw in that room of like, I don't know, there was about 300 people up in New Hampshire watching the debate, and there was a lot of support for her after this. There's a couple of things in terms of how I would critique this. And again, I think her rise is helpful for my preferred candidates, frankly, or candidate in this specific instance. But one, the notion of we need to get back these voters we lost. All the data shows that to the extent that there were voters that we lost, the Obama to Trump voters, there was also a bunch of Obama to no one voters. And the Obama to Trump voters tended to be more conservative. We're not getting them back, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Obama to nobody voters, and it's the nobody to nobody voters that we need to get. That is, and I think there's a big story coming out with Politico that does a survey of like a 10,000 or 12,000 non-voters. And I think we're going to get a sense of that. It's really this big debate whether this is an election of persuasion or of mobilization. Getting people who already agree with your agenda to feel that it's worth their time to vote, as opposed to getting people who have heretofore not agreed with your agenda to believe in your agenda. Now, Donald Trump has had 95% favorability with Republicans. I don't think you're going to convince those people. I think the 5%, if they're not on board with Trump now, they're not going to be. And they're either, even if they sit it out, fine. The other thing when she says, I'm empathetic, I know you. I mean, can you hear what Donald Trump is going to say? I can. You weren't so empathetic for the people working in your office. When you threw the phone. She's not empathetic. She doesn't care about these people. Do you see where we are already in just 3 short sentences? We're not at what it is she was offering the American public. What she was offering the American public was some measure of empathy. No. Don't make it about you. Do not make it about you, because if you do, you're going to be in big trouble, because Donald Trump is a professional smear merchant. You've got to make it just about what the American public will get. Not because you're empathetic, not because you have high morals, not because you have integrity, but because this is the plan. Here it is. That's what we're offering. You make it about, Sanders very well situated for this, obviously, because it's not about me. It's about us, right? And he is pretty emphatic. He has been quite on message. So you start to look for that in every interview that he gives. You start to realize that nothing that he's offering is contingent upon him being anything other than the person who's saying the words. It's not like I understand the American public. And if you look at like all his town halls, he's not up there saying I am you. No, he's simply saying you are you. Come up here. Here's the microphone. Tell us about it. That's the strategy, anyways.